Hey guys, so I thought today we would go over the chatbot that Streamlabs offers on their website. Um, Pretty simple to go to. You just go to Streamlabs, and then you'll just scroll down here to Community and Growth. You also can go through all the Twitch extensions that they have available here too. Um, but it also like gives you all the stuff that they offer with their chatbot, which is super cool. For those of you not on Twitch, on YouTube or Mixer, it also goes over all this stuff, which is super nice. Most of them just have like a little blurb or something that will tell you what they offer. So right there, that's cool. Pretty simple, download it, click next, accept everything, and then you might run into a hiccup. It might start yelling at you about something called Python. It's a programming language. They have the newest version right here. You just click that, do the same thing. We'll go ahead. We don't need that anymore. And then after you get it all set up, it's going to kind of look something like this. Typical kind of things up top, like you got your stream, if it catches that you're online or offline. Then you have an update, which it should catch that by itself. And you also have a backup that you can store. Once you start getting into it, like you really get into the groove of things, you're going to start just making all kinds of commands. You'll start either catching a lot of people that are trying to use a command that they're used to on other, streams. And maybe you'll go to a couple of streams and, test it out for yourself, see what theirs is doing, make your own, or, Google it. There's a couple of websites, and I'll post those in the description down below that have like anywhere from like 10 to like 20 of the like most popular or, most common commands that people are using. But going through this, I'll kind of go through it real quickly as an overview, and then I'll go through each individual one and kind of show you guys how to set everything up. Most of it is pretty easy, and it shouldn't trip you up that much. A couple of weird things here and there, and then we'll actually, as long as we don't run over time, make a couple of commands, or I'll at least show you guys how you use these like global variables that they're using in here. So right here on the console is just like a pseudo chat from your stream, and you can see like I've already called my personal commands, and I have a website set up. You might think about doing that depending on how many you use. It does have some built-in commands already. If you plan on making your own, I would suggest going to like github.com, looking up how to make your own gist. It's basically just like a totally online notepad almost, and you can print out all of yours, and I'll actually pull mine up so you guys can kind of see what that looks like. There's a ton of them out there. I mean, if you wanted to, you could even hard type them in, so when they call commands, they see it right in the chat box. I don't like doing that. It takes up a lot of room, and it's, to me, kind of hard to like go through when people do that. If they have more than like 4 or 5 or 6, it all kind of like blends together. Personal preference. Going down from there, dashboard, which is basically it hits the API. If you don't know what an API is, basically it's just catching all of your personal user stuff, and it's uploading it here. And you can set up like automated hosting, RAID assist, commercials if you're interested. Somebody I helped set this up for, they actually own their own digital marketing business, and they run their own pre-made ads on their own Twitch channel, which, to me is pretty smart. You got your, subscribers. It just gives you a list of all your subs. And then, here is where all your commands are going to live, which is pretty cool. And you can actually make almost like different folders for them, which is super cool. I would assume, once you have quite a few, you might want to like break them apart, and then, if you want to go back and change them over time or anything like that, you could go and do that. Timers is basically the automated messages that your bots will spit out into the chat box for you guys. Quotes, I haven't played with quotes or extra quotes. Giveaways, I've actually got my own personal web app that I use, and mine automates everything for me. All I basically have to do is just hit a button to run it, and then it will do it. Song request, song files. If you want any like custom like animations or like commands that have like like you want to do like exclamation point boom has an explosion or something, this is where you would put that. Q, don't use that. Counter, for deaths. I mean, you could do all kinds of things, like if you're playing some kind of game like Fortnite, you could do like counts of wins for the night or something. That way, as people are popping in, they can come in, call it, see how many wins you have for the day, or how many headshots, how much of anything really. I don't use it a whole lot, just because you have to constantly like start and stop it, and you can't like edit it as it's running, so that's kind of annoying. Currency, this is a huge thing, and this is probably what we're gonna spend most of our time. Is I'm gonna like really go through currency for you guys. I've almost doubled the amount of viewer time that I have, and the amount of viewers that are sticking around or following me afterwards. And then users is just a list of like all of the viewers that you've had come in, and once they start accruing currency and stuff, they will stick around in users. We'll get into that in a little bit. Mini games, there's a couple on here. You could build your own if you wanted, but these are pretty cool for being what they are, for being like a little text-based game. I think they're pretty cool. You can do polls, like maybe at the start of your stream, on like Saturday nights, your thing is, you are consistently getting quite a few people in there. You want to throw a poll up, let them choose like between 3 games, what they want to see you play that night, or, in Overwatch a lot. When it's about the last minute or so in the round, I will actually put up all the heroes that I use, and I'll let people pick who they want me to play in the next round. Betting is another cool one. It's a really interactive way for your people to come in, hang out with you, and then are you going to win the match? Are you going to survive? Anything like that. It's really cool. It's really flexible. You can build your events in here if you're into that. I haven't tried doing an actual event yet, but if you're going to do like a donation event or something for like Toys for Tots or something, that's a really cool way to go about it. There's mod tools down here. I don't have any of these set up. I have a lot of different people come in. Everybody's been really cool so far. Some of the guys do type in all caps. I don't get bothered by it. I kind of like it because the way that they use it, they come in, like yelling stuff like hashtag hype train, or, random stuff like that. They're all really getting to know each other and like shouting and like cheering on and stuff. So I've left that alone. And then you can also set up your notifications. This is definitely another one that you're going to want to do, especially as you're growing. The other night, I gained almost like 30 followers in one stream, and it was really hard for me to keep up and keep thanking everybody. So if you do miss somebody, at least they're getting a mention in the chat, and they're more than likely going to see that, and they're going to appreciate that. So what a couple of other things I want to go over is, so once you get it downloaded and everything, the first thing you have to do is, if you have like more than one email, or just make a dud email, you have to make your own Twitch account for your bot. It has to have a separate Twitch account. It doesn't have to be hooked up to Prime or anything like that. You're going to want to do that. You give it a name. I'm Asian Dev, so my bot's name is just DevBot. So you want to fill out your bot's name, and then it took me like over an hour to get this all figured out, because it auto fills it for you. So you will have like DevBot, and then my streamer channel was also DevBot, and it auto filled that for me. So you're going to want to change that to, whatever the name is of your streaming account. Put that in there, and then your OAuth token. Mine was already preset. I don't know if maybe that's because I save all of my like passwords and stuff, but if it's not, you put all that in there. You'll hit generate token and then connect, and it'll pop up a little pop-up box. You type all of your info in, you sign in, it'll give you an OAuth token, and basically all an OAuth token is some fancy programming stuff to get like a super secure password through something called an API. But basically it's just like a one-time password to verify that it's you and not a spammer or something. Gonna do the same thing for your streamer. And then if you want to use any of this other stuff, I don't. The only one that should be filled out will be your Streamlabs, but like Extra Life, Game Wisp, I don't do any of that. I'm actually in the process of learning how to build like a really strong Discord bot. So once that is all set up, I will release that as a video for you guys too. That's super cool. If you have your own Discord channel, which I highly suggest either you start your own or maybe get like a group of people together and have like a team Discord or something, and you get this bot, and it does a lot of really cool stuff. I'm getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. All right, moving on. So currency. I think it says bucks or something, but I call mine AZ bucks. You can call them whatever you want, and then you give them a name, the command, which I just figured, you keep those the same. Response, you can change it if you want. I didn't really see the need to. And then to keep people from spamming, it just have a 5-second cooldown. And then there's 2 ways to go about this. You can use the currency extension, but it does get rid of a lot of your customizing here. As you can see, like you get event payout and that's it. Everything else is set up through the extension. I don't like doing that. I like keeping things simple, everything in one spot. And then with that, you can set up, however, you want your intervals set up, regulars, offline hours. I would recommend keeping your offline hours, depending on how you want to use your currency. I keep mine off because I actually have some commands that will cost my currency, but I do certain things. We do setting rules for a certain amount. I do karaoke for a certain amount of points. I let somebody be king or queen of the stream for a certain amount of points, and a couple other ones. But it's just like a really fun way to let them be really interactive and kind of make them feel like they're in control of the stream, and they get really, really into it. And you can set all this stuff up, and then right here you can see how many points they're earning per hour, min to max, and then just kind of base it, from there how you want it. And then, all this stuff, the rest of this is going to be pretty explanatory. And after you set that up, you don't have to do any setup for polls or betting. You just fill them out, win a match, and then you just, you would just add yes, and then no, and then how the percentage of the the payout, whatever you feel is necessary. You could do multi-betting if you want or not, but you start it, and then as you can see up here, it just fires off that we started that. Super simple. It does take a little bit of getting used to, depending on if you're using if you have a large display and you're running window mode. It does get a little tricky to try and cycle back and forth. If you have 2 monitors, just throw this over on your other monitor and it is way easier. Oh, and one thing, you have to right click, pick winner, remove all. Same thing, exact same with polls. And then the mini games, they'll all be off when you set it up, and then you can kind of adjust all this stuff however you want. The cooldown is, somebody can only call this once every 5 minutes. It takes at least 1 point or buck or whatever you want to call it to enter. The maximum they can pay into it is 2,000 is what I have it set to. And then they have 2 minutes, so once somebody fires it, after that, everybody else who wants to join, they just call the command and it'll pull them in. And you can go in through here and change all the probabilities and stuff. I think they all start at 50%. I gave some of my people a little bit better chance. So, like the workers and stuff, 50%. But if you're a regular, which means you've either you've hung out for a while and you followed, or you rated a couple times, you subbed to me or something, you get a little bit better chance. And then you get a specific 4 subs, even better. And then moderators. And then the other part is you can edit what it says if you want to. It basically just gives you all the chance of all the scripts that it could possibly run. I could actually go through some of these. So whenever you see like a $ and something, that is going to be a variable. So obviously this is, like if Jim Bob were to use it, it would say, Jim Bob is trying to get a team together. Cooldown, obviously, how much longer is on the cooldown. You got this command, whatever you have that command set to, results. You can get these on the documentation. I'll put that down in the description below, but all you'd have to do is just search, Streamlabs chatbot, and it'll go through that with you. Song request. This is a little bit different. If you have to watch a video or something, it will talk about Spotify. There was some kind of licensing problem or copyright problem with using that, so they don't use it anymore. Same thing, hit the cog, come up here, and set all of, your permissions up here. You might want to set the max duration a little bit lower, just so you don't get any trolly people in there, with ridiculous songs or something. And then, your queue. You don't want to have too many songs in there, because then you might not get to all of them before you log off. And then your checkboxes. This middle one is important to me. I like to think that YouTube is really good about having more likes and dislikes based on the quality of videos and stuff. You can do the other ones if you want. I have found, and I've talked to a lot of other streamers, the first one, the music category, there are quite a bit of songs that don't get registered as the music category for whatever reason. So I leave that off just because some of my viewers have gotten upset because they never got their song played, and when I went back to look at it, it didn't take because of that. And then you have some currency cost. I have it set to 0, so anybody, if they want to hear a song, jam out with all of us, they can. But I have had it set so they do have to spend some money. I want everybody to have a chance to listen to their songs, even if nobody else likes it. That one person likes it, so we're going to listen to it unless you want to spend money. And then max request, you probably do want to set that just so you don't get somebody that spams it and fills 100 songs, or whatever. You have your limit set to 20 songs, and we have to listen to a whole bunch of songs before anybody else come in and request their song. And then timers, super easy. You just come up here, hit add, and just call it whatever you want. You want to set it to true. If it's set to false, it won't run. It's really nice to toggle, if you have a giveaway coming up, or you're gonna do a birthday stream, or a 24-hour stream or something. And then you can set the usage wherever you want. I don't really think you need to set it to Discord, but if you do have something in there, you can. I don't have any groups set up, so I don't have a need for that. And then the groups will actually come up here, so you see how I have blank, and then I have general. You can set, like I said, those different folders. But it's just a good way to kind of keep track. Eventually I might have all of my timers, because your timers will show up in your command. Don't worry, that's normal. I probably will build a group out for all of my automated stuff. Then you just type out whatever your response is, hit submit, and then now we'll come up here to commands. And then as you can see down here, here are all the timer scripts that I have. And then we'll just kind of go through a couple of these. So as you can see, some of the basic stuff with the commands. Here was the sound file I was talking about. Only play sound files when the stream is live. I don't really think that many people are going to come to your stream if you're not live and fire off commands, but if they're there and they want to hear them, I don't see the harm in it. And then you can set these if you have like currency costs or cooldowns for whatever reason, or permissions, like if you have to be subbed to use certain ones, like, you know, if you have to be subbed and you want to, if you have like a sub count or something, some streamers have that, but you only want your subs to be able to see that, you know, hit that. But then basically from here, you know, you just go and, you know, build out a command, and we'll just make one together real quick. So like we got mutiny. I have all of mine set to 0. Anybody that wants to come in, hang out with these things, we do that. Usage, you know, same as the timers. Permissions, like I said, you know, set those however you want. The cooldowns, I don't have any cooldowns on them, just because I don't really see a point. You know, if people are having fun with it, you know, let them have fun. And then we'll go through a couple of them. So we'll say like user, which, you know, using our Jim Bob example, so it would be like, you know, Jim Bob is planning a mutiny, and then we'll just say tells the captain. And then, you know, that's pretty much it. But here, you know, we have user and we have random user. So I don't know if it will fire this one. Yeah. Well, it's still fired, but since I'm the only user here, you know, Asian Dev is planning a mutiny. Asian Dev tells the captain. So typically, you know, if you had a couple of people in here, you know, it'd be like Asian Dev is planning a mutiny. You know, Jim Bob tells the captain. And then, let's say you make it, but you weren't really paying attention, and then like you notice that you misspelled something. You just right click, and then you get all of the kind of setup that you had before. You can export them to. Maybe you like have a couple that you're really proud of, or like were like really difficult to set up. Then you will just set those to export to like maybe like a folder or like USB drive or something like that. But you can always, you know, right click, edit, and it'll take you right back here, and then you just change whatever you need to, and just hit submit again. And that is pretty much all you need to know. Just the really important thing is coming down here to the little person, hitting your connections. The biggest issue I've found people are finding with chatbot the first couple times they try to use it is they're not connecting right away, or they're booting it up and then they're starting their stream, and then after they get done streaming they realize that it was never signed in for them. Just making sure you set all the stuff. It's pretty easy. Just pay attention to what it's asking for. You know, hit connector, you know, generate wherever it needs to. Pay attention to, I run the same intro for my Twitch stream, and I will usually run that before, you know, I hit any of my Discord or anything, let people know I'm live, and wait till it's connected, and then I'll go. Another cool thing about this is how good this console works for you. I keep it up. I used to use Streamlabels. Streamlabels is awesome, works really well. This works just as good. And once you start running some of your scripts, like your notifications thanking people for following, you get really good at like catching where it's thanking people, and then you can, you know, verbally thank them. And also, you know, you can catch your viewers over here. And I really think that's all there is to this. Like I said, just a couple weird things. And I think that, yeah. So right there, so here's the documentation. We'll just go over that real quick. And then what you're going to want to look for is parameters. So these are going to be all of the variables or parameters that you can use and it gives you a description and an example, and then your response. But there's, you know, quite a bit of them, and you can find a bunch of other YouTube videos that go like really in depth. I mean, you can write like your own text files and import them. Like, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with this. It just really depends how interactive you want to get into it. But the other thing I wanted to show you guys was the GitHub. But that is not what I wanted to go to here. But just come down, you know, GitHub, Gist. I think this is the easiest one to use, but you'll just come down here. I'm always logged in as a web dev. I use this a whole bunch. But you know, you sign in and everything. You'll come down here, give yourself, you know, a description. You know, you'll just put like, you know, bot commands, and then, you know, if you want to make it prettier or whatever, but then, you know, you would just put like, one is commands, you know, gives URL of the command list, and then just etc. You can create it as a secret. That's not what you want here, but you hit it as public, and then we'll just go ahead and make it real quick, and then it will come down here, and then you'll have your URL up here at the top, and then you know, fairly simple, edit, go through it. But that is all for this one. If you guys have any other questions, or you're having troubles getting something to work, hit my Discord link. You know, leave me a comment, you know, email me, just get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to help you with anything. Or if you have like a command or a script that you can think of in your head, but you don't know how to do it, pretty good at programming, so I'm more than happy to take a couple of minutes and at least get you pointed in the right direction. If not, just make it for you and see if that's what you're looking for. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you want more videos like this, you know, subscribe. I'm going to continue trying to make these at least one a day for you guys. We're probably going to start dabbling a little bit heavier into programming stuff, just because there's not a whole lot to do with Twitch. There's only really a couple more things I need to go over with you guys to really get you to have your best foot forward. Tomorrow we will probably start checking out some panels and how to make them and keep them really crisp and clean looking. Thank you.